Hello, we are back. We just had our third editorial meeting, and I will hand over to Anthony straight away.
Thanks, Meike. So over the last 6 weeks, I've been writing some new material, and to be honest, I got quite daunted about the idea that I'm writing a book about Brexit. In spite of Meike's advice that it is about the characters, and that's kind of what we said in a previous meeting. But over the last sort of week or couple of weeks or so, I got really encouraged and heartened for different reasons, really, with the writing. One was a reading I did in Wolverhampton last week at the new Wolverhampton Book Festival, which people seemed, interested and encouraging about this material and what I'm writing here. And I was really conscious of that because obviously, Wolverhampton's part of the area I'm writing about. And I've read a couple of things. So, there's a Pankaj Mishra extract from his book The Age of Anger in The Guardian that talks about structural issues in society and the anger that has been caused, which is sort of what I'm writing about. But I'm writing about on a much, not to over intellectualize it. I'm writing about Cairo as a character, that his feelings of kind of rage and impotence have come about because of much larger factors in kind of society and economy. But it's about him, and it's also about Grace, who's from a very different kind of set of experiences and background, and they're coming together and experiences of the world. So actually, in the last couple of weeks, a lot of the kind of political background sort of receded, and it's a lot more about them and their very specific story and experiences. So we think we're getting somewhere, which is good. And the idea is I now put a full draft of the novel together, to move into the timetable for publishing.
Yeah, and I'm confident that will happen. I was thinking, just thinking of what I said about our last editorial meeting. I said I was very excited, but actually I wasn't telling totally the truth. I was also incredibly worried because we had a lot of political, socio-political background, but for my liking, not enough of the story arc. And I think especially in a novella, you need the characters to act out things. There isn't enough space to have a narrator telling us things. And or the characters, in fact, telling us things. They need to act, they need to interact, they need to be charged with emotions. And so in some ways that hadn't happened last time. And I was I was really pleased. And I was worried to read what Anthony delivered 2 days ago. But yesterday, when I sat down, the two characters are interacting. We are having a story arc developing. Today we talked a lot about, building Cairo's anger, building Cairo's frustrations. We also talked about unity of imagery. That, again, is very important, especially in a novella. There isn't enough space for different symbols. And there isn't enough space for scenes repeating the same thing. So if a scene says something, the next scene needs to move on from there. And I think that's what we discussed today, and it feels very solid.
Yeah, definitely. So on the one hand, I'm really confident about that idea about coherent imagery and the backdrop and what the novel's saying and where it's set, partly because it is a Black Country story and setting and connected very much with work I've done before. But I've not written a novella before, and that's been a really interesting process. So what Michael's talking about the movement really and the flow of a work at this length, it is different from a novel, and that's related to things like number of characters, but also the need for to push things forward and push things on. So that's been that's quite a challenge, and it's been an interesting process to be going through, So to be sort of testing myself in that form, which I'm really enjoying. So the proof now will be getting this kind of full draft together over the next few weeks.
And that will happen, I think our next editorial meeting is beginning of March, so tune in again. Bye.
Thanks.